Time management for students. The student who was always busy, but never productive. Ethan was the kind of student everyone knew, the one who always said, "I'm so busy. I have no time. I'm overwhelmed. I'll do it later." His backpack was full, his planner was a mess, his grades were slipping, and his stress was sky high. But here's a strange part. Ethan wasn't lazy, he wasn't unmotivated, he wasn't careless. He was simply managing time the way most students do, wrong. And he was about to learn a truth that would change everything. Being busy and being productive are not the same thing. The morning that proved everything. It was a Monday morning and Ethan had 3 assignments due. He woke up late. Again. He rushed through breakfast. Again. He grabbed his backpack without checking it. Again. And when he got to school, he froze. He didn't have his English essay. He forgot his math homework. He didn't study for his quiz. His stomach dropped. He whispered, "How did this happen again?" He wasn't dumb. He just didn't have a system. The teacher who finally saw the problem. During lunch, Ethan went to see Miss Carter, the school counselor. She took one look at him. "Rough morning?" Ethan nodded slowly. "I don't get it. I try so hard. I stay up late. I'm always working. But everything is still falling apart." Miss Carter leaned back in her chair. "Ethan, you don't have a time problem. You have a management problem." Ethan frowned. "I don't understand." "It's simple," she said. "You're working hard, but not smart." She pulled out a blank sheet of paper. "Let me show you something." The time management pyramid. She drew 3 layers. 1. Priorities. 2. Planning. 3. Habits. Ethan tilted his head. "This is the pyramid every successful student uses," she said. "Most students skip the first 2 layers and jump straight to work. That's why they drown." She tapped the top layer. "Let's start with priorities." The first truth: not everything matters the same. Miss Carter wrote 4 categories. Urgent plus important, important but not urgent. Urgent but not important, not urgent, plus not important. Then she added, "Your entire problem is here." She pointed at the wrong boxes. "You focus on what feels urgent, not what actually matters." Ethan felt like someone punched him in the chest. He thought back to all the times he scrolled during study time, waited until midnight to start homework, spent hours being busy but not progressing, procrastinated important assignments, did easy tasks just to feel productive. She was right. He wasn't prioritizing, he was reacting. The second truth: planning isn't optional. Miss Carter handed him a simple weekly planner. "Planning isn't about being strict," she said. "It's about being intentional." She wrote, homework time, study blocks breaks, chores relaxation, sleep hobbies. "Every part of your week must be visible," she explained. Ethan swallowed. "So, if I don't plan, I lose control?" "Exactly," she said. "And when you lose control of your time, you lose control of your life." The third truth: habits save you when motivation dies. Then she circled the bottom layer of the pyramid. "You don't need motivation," she said. "You need stable habits." She listed them: a daily study block, a consistent sleep cycle, checking your backpack every night, using a to-do list, reviewing assignments, weekly planning before starting work, taking breaks, avoiding multitasking. Ethan stared at the list. These weren't difficult, they were just consistent. "You don't need huge changes," she said softly. "You just need small habits done daily." The moment that broke Ethan. Ethan put his face in his hands. "Miss Carter, I feel like I wasted years. She smiled gently. You didn't waste anything. You simply didn't know the system. Then she placed a hand on his shoulder. But now you do, and that means everything is about to change. Ethan lifted his head slowly. Something inside him shifted. For the first time in his life, he realized he wasn't a failure. He was just disorganized, unguided, and overwhelmed by the chaos he never learned to control. Now, he had a roadmap. The start of a new chapter. That night, Ethan did something he had never done before. He planned his week. He listed his assignments. He blocked his study time. He scheduled his breaks. He organized his backpack. He cleaned his desk. He set his alarm early. It felt weird, uncomfortable, different, but also empowering. He whispered to himself, I'm finally taking control. But he didn't know yet. The real test was coming tomorrow, when he would put his new system to work. Why your study time doesn't work and how to fix it. Ethan woke up earlier than usual the next day. For the first time in months, he didn't hit snooze. He didn't rush. He didn't panic. He washed up, packed his backpack, reviewed his planner, and actually walked into school prepared. But something unexpected happened that afternoon. He sat at his desk during study hall, opened his notebook, and tried to work. 10 minutes passed, then 20, then 30. And Ethan whispered to himself, why am I still getting nothing done? He wasn't scrolling. He wasn't distracted. He wasn't procrastinating. He was simply stuck. And that's when he realized something huge. Studying and productive studying are not the same thing. The study hall that taught him everything. Across the room, Ethan noticed another student, a quiet girl named Lily, working with laser focus. She had her laptop open, a notebook beside it, a timer running, and a water bottle next to her. She didn't look stressed. She didn't look overwhelmed. She looked efficient. Ethan kept glancing over, shocked. How could someone study so calmly when he felt like he was drowning? He hesitated, then walked over. Hey, sorry to bother you, he said nervously. How are you studying so well? Lily looked up and smiled. Oh, I'm using the system. Ethan raised an eyebrow. The what? The system. Every productive student uses. Lily turned a notebook so Ethan could see. On the top of her page was a list. Pomodoro Priority Order, Zero Multitask, Rule Deep Work Zone Review. Cycle, Ethan blinked. What is all this? Lily laughed softly. This is how you manage time inside your study time, she pointed at his desk. You're sitting here for an hour, but your brain isn't actually working. Ethan looked embarrassed. I mean, yeah, Lily nodded. Ethan, don't worry, I used to be the same. Then she explained the system. 1. The Pomodoro Rule. Focus in short bursts. Lily said, your brain isn't built to focus for long stretches, but it can focus intensely for 25 minutes. She showed him her timer. I work for 25 minutes, then I take a 5-minute break. After 4 rounds, I take a longer 15-minute break. Ethan nodded. That actually sounds doable. It is, she said, and it prevents burnout. 2. Priority order, important before urgent. Next, Lily pointed to a small list. 1. Hardest task. 2. Medium task. 3. Easy task. You always start with the hardest, she explained. Your morning brain, strongest brain. Ethan froze. He usually started with the easiest task just to feel productive. Lily smiled knowingly. Yeah, that doesn't work. 3. Zero multitask rule. 1 tab, 1 task. Then she said something that shocked Ethan. Multitasking destroys productivity. She lifted her laptop. 1 assignment, 1 tab, 1 window, 1 goal. Ethan swallowed. He usually had YouTube open, music playing, 3 tabs of homework, messages popping up, random searches, notes scattered. No wonder you're overwhelmed, Lily said gently. 4. Deep work zone. Remove all distractions. Lily pointed around her desk. This is my deep work zone. She had water pen and notebook, laptop headphones, no snacks, no extra items, no phone, clean desk, my key, clean mind, she said. Ethan looked down at his messy backpack and felt exposed. 5. Review cycle, the secret most students skip. Lily flipped to another page. At the end of every study block, I take 3 minutes to review what I learned. Ethan tilted his head. Why? We forget 90% of what we learn unless we interrupt the forgetting. She tapped her notebook. That's how I actually remember stuff. Ethan sat there stunned. This wasn't magic. This wasn't genius. This was a structure. The moment the light bulb lit, Lily leaned back. Ethan, studying isn't about time, it's about technique, he whispered. So that's why I always feel behind. Yes, she said softly. You're not slow, you're just unstructured. Those words hit Ethan harder than he expected. For the first time in his life, someone made him feel like he wasn't failing, who was simply doing things the wrong way. He took a deep breath. Can you teach me? Lily smiled. Of course. The start of real productivity that afternoon, Ethan tried the system for the first time. 1 task, 1 timer, 1 clean desk, 1 focus, and for the first time in years, he finished everything he planned. No panic, no chaos, no rushing, no stress, just calm, focused work. As he packed his things, he whispered, I can do this. But this was only the beginning. Tomorrow, Ethan would face his greatest challenge yet, managing time when everything goes wrong. And that test would decide whether his new habits were real. The hardest day became his turning point. Ethan went to bed the night before feeling proud. Maybe for the first time in years, he finally had structure. He finally felt in control. He finally believed he could turn things around. But the next day, life hit him harder than he ever expected. And that's when he learned the most important rule of time management. Anyone can be organized on a good day. Winners stay organized on the bad ones. The disaster morning. Ethan's phone died in the middle of the night, which meant no alarm, no reminders, no morning plan. He woke up 40 minutes late, heart racing. He threw on clothes, grabbed his bag, didn't eat breakfast, and sprinted outside. Right as the bus pulled away from the stop, he stood there breathing hard, frustration boiling in his chest. Seriously, why today? The old Ethan would have taken this as a sign to give up, to call the whole day ruined. But today, he remembered the promise he made to himself. Don't quit. Adjust. He walked back inside and asked his mom for a ride. Not perfect, but not a meltdown either. Problem after problem after problem. As soon as he walked into school, chaos followed. Problem number 1. Pop quiz in science, the subject he struggled with the most. Problem number 2. He opened his folder and realized it had torn apart, pages crumpled everywhere. Problem number 3. His closest friends started arguing at lunch, and their drama pushed his anxiety through the roof. Problem number 4. His math teacher casually announced, Test moved to this Friday. Ethan felt his pulse pounding. His hands were shaking. This is too much. Why is everything happening today? But then Lily's voice echoed in his mind. Time management isn't built for easy days. It's built for the days that fall apart. He took a breath. He didn't quit. The realization that changed everything after school. Ethan spotted Lily in the library. She was typing quietly, focused as always. He sat down across from her, looking exhausted. Lily glanced up. "Whoa, rough one." Ethan nodded. "Everything went wrong today. I tried so hard yesterday, and today looked like my old life all over again." Lily closed her laptop. "Good." Ethan stared at her. "Good? How is any of this good?" She smiled softly. "Because now we get to see if your system works." He swallowed. "What system?" She leaned closer. "The recovery system. The plan, adjust, recover." Method. Lily grabbed Ethan's planner and flipped it open. "You made a plan, good, but life changed the plan. Now you need to adjust, then you need to recover." She drew 3 boxes. Plan. You decide your day. Adjust. Life happens, you shift, recover. You finish the essential task, even if the day isn't perfect. Ethan touched the page slowly. "I don't have to start over?" "Nope," she said. "You just pivot." The 3 most important tasks. Lily pulled out her notebook. "This is called the 3x3 rule, and you need it today more than ever." She wrote, "Top 3 must be done today. Middle 3, good if done. Last 3, optional. You only focus on the top 3, she said, especially on chaos days." Ethan's shoulders loosened for the first time all afternoon. "So I don't need to finish my whole list?" "No," she said. "You just need to finish what matters." Ethan's 3 important tasks together, they wrote: study for the moved up math test, rewrite the English essay draft, review science notes for the pop quiz. Lily pointed at the rest of his tasks. "These can wait, the important ones can't." Ethan leaned back. "I've never looked at my day like this." "That's because nobody teaches you how," she said. "The night he proved he could change." Ethan went home still shaken from the day, but he didn't collapse. He didn't spiral. He didn't procrastinate. He didn't drown in guilt. He sat at his desk, opened his notebook, set his timer, and got to work, one task at a time. And even though the day was a complete disaster, he finished all 3 important tasks. When he closed his notebook, he whispered, "I didn't lose today. I won a messed up day." And that was a victory bigger than any perfect schedule. The truth he learned that night, Ethan journaled, "A good system won't stop bad days. A good system stops bad days from controlling me." He closed his journal slowly. Time management wasn't about being perfect. It was about being ready when everything fell apart. Tomorrow he would face a new challenge, protecting his time from distractions and people who drain it, and that lesson would change everything. The distraction trap. Why students lose. Hours without noticing. Ethan thought he finally understood time management. He survived a disaster day. He handled chaos without falling apart. He still finished the important tasks. But now he faced a different enemy, one that didn't come from outside. It came from the people around him: friends, classmates, group chats, notifications, random conversations, laughing, noise, drama. And today Ethan would learn the hardest truth: your environment controls your focus more than your motivation does. The lunch period that changed everything. Ethan sat down at lunch with his friend group. They were funny, loud, chaotic, the kind of group everyone knew because they were always in the middle of some kind of drama. Ethan used to love it. But today, he watched as 30 minutes disappeared without him doing a single useful thing. His friends argued about a video game, then made fun of a teacher, then got mad at each other, then laughed hysterically about some rumor. Ethan checked his watch. Lunchtime was over. He whispered, I literally didn't do anything. Not one assignment, not one task, not one review, just noise. The afternoon meltdown. During study hall, the same thing happened. Ethan tried to open his math notes, but his friends kept calling him over. Bro, look at this meme! Come here, we're going to the vending machine. Ethan, help me with this TikTok. Dude, are you ignoring us? He kept trying to be polite, trying to balance, trying not to offend anyone. But inside he felt the stress climbing. His planner said, study for math, but his environment said, you're not allowed to focus. The breaking point. At the end of study hall, he looked down and realized he hadn't done anything. Again, a wave of frustration hit him. What's wrong with me? He muttered. But deep down, he knew the answer. It wasn't him. It was the environment he kept forcing himself into. The person who saw it before he did. After school, he found Lily in her usual spot in the library, quiet, focused, organized. He sat down across from her with a defeated sigh. She didn't even look up. Let me guess, she said, you didn't get anything done today. Ethan blinked. How did you know? She closed her laptop slowly. Because I've been there, and I can see it all over your face. Ethan rubbed his forehead. I don't know what happened. I wasn't procrastinating. I just kept getting sucked into everything around me. Lily nodded. You were stuck in a distraction environment. The rule nobody teaches. Environment, Maunain, willpower. Lily leaned forward. Ethan, everyone thinks productivity is about willpower. It's not. She pointed at the library walls. It's about environment. He frowned. What do you mean? Lily explained. You can't focus in a place filled with noise, drama, pressure, and constant interruptions. Your brain isn't built for it. Then she added, you don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your environment. Ethan felt that line hit him like a punch. The focus zone strategy. Lily opened a notebook and drew 3 circles. Red zone, noisy, distracting, unproductive cafeteria, hallways, group chats, loud friends, busy rooms. Yellow zone, mixed focus, classrooms, open study halls, common areas. Green zone, deep work-only library, empty classroom, quiet corner, home desk, study room. She pointed at the page. You need to spend more time in the green zone. Ethan swallowed. So, I need distance from my friends during study time? Lily nodded gently. Yes, not forever, just during work. The guilt that every student feels. Ethan looked down. I don't want them to think I'm avoiding them. Lily smiled softly. That's exactly why most students fail at time management. She continued. You're not avoiding your friends. You're protecting your future. Then she added, if someone gets mad at you for improving your life, that's their problem, not yours. Ethan took a shaky breath. For the first time, he realized something important. He didn't need permission to focus. He didn't need approval to grow. He didn't need to be available all the time. The first time, Ethan protected his time. The next day during lunch, Ethan stood up from the table and said, I'm heading to the library to finish some work. I'll catch you guys later. There was a moment of awkward silence. Then, bro, you're becoming a nerd. Ethan, come on, man, chill. What's wrong with you lately? But Ethan smiled calmly. I'm good. I just need to focus. And he walked away. His heart was pounding, but he felt powerful. He found a quiet corner, opened his notebook, and started working. No noise, no interruptions, no drama, just progress. And for the first time in his life, he realized that focus wasn't something you find, it's something you choose. The weekly system that turns chaos into control. Ethan had learned how to focus, how to survive disaster days, and how to protect his attention from distractions. But now he faced different challenge, one that destroys most students: consistency. It's easy to be organized for a day or a week, even 2 weeks, but real success, real change, that comes from a system that keeps you on track even when life gets busy, stressful, or unpredictable. And today, Ethan would learn exactly how to build that system. The Friday that made him realize he wasn't done yet. By Friday afternoon, Ethan was tired, a good tired, a productive tired. He finished homework on time. He managed his deadlines. He avoided distractions. He stayed organized. But when he looked at his planner for next week, his heart dropped. So much stuff again. Essays, quizzes, a project. How do I stay consistent with all of this? That's when Lily walked in with her backpack, sat beside him, and said, "You need a weekly system." Ethan blinked. "I thought I already had a system." Lily shook her head. "You have daily tools. Now you need a weekly structure." The weekly reset. The secret most successful students use. Lily opened her notebook. On one page was a layout titled Weekly Reset. She slid the notebook to Ethan. "This is how I stay consistent," she explained. "Every Friday or Sunday, I reset my entire week." Ethan read the steps under the title: 1. Brain dump. 2. Sort by category. 3. Sort by priority. 4. Build the week. 5. Review and adjust. He looked up, confused. "What does this mean?" Lily smiled. "Let me show you. Step 1. The brain dump." Lily handed Ethan an empty page. "Step 1 is easy," she said. "Write down everything on your mind." Ethan raised an eyebrow. "Everything?" "Yes. Assignments, tests, chores, family stuff, events, anything." At first, Ethan hesitated, but then he started writing. Math test, English essay, Spanish homework, history reading, project presentation, clean room, help mom with groceries, study for SAT, friend's birthday, science quiz, basketball practice. The list looked intimidating. He sighed. "I didn't realize I had this much." "That's the point," Lily said. "Your brain wasn't built to store your tasks, only to do them." Step 2. Sort by category. Lily drew 4 boxes: school, home, personal, long term. "Now move each task into the right box." They filled them together. Suddenly the chaos started to look organized. Ethan whispered, "This already feels easier." Step 3. Prioritize like a pro. Lily tapped the boxes. "Now mark everything with one of these." A. Granted pro, must do. B. Should do. C. Optional. Ethan prioritized with her guidance. A tasks. ITI, math test prep, English essay, science quiz review, project preparation, SAT study. B tasks, history reading, Spanish homework, basketball practice. C tasks, clean room, friend's birthday, missed chores. Ethan looked surprised. "It suddenly feels manageable," Lily nodded. "Most overwhelm disappears once you organize your mind." Step 4. Build the week. This was the part that amazed him. Lily took Ethan's planner and said, "Every week should have 3-4 study blocks, 1 long-term block, 1 review. Day 1 reset, day breaks, and buffer time for yourself, non-negotiable sleep." She handed the planner back. "Now fill your A tasks into the week first." Ethan wrote, Monday, math test prep. Tuesday, English essay. Wednesday, science quiz review. Thursday, project work. Friday, SAT practice. Weekend, catch up and review. Then they added B tasks into open spaces. and see tasks where they fit naturally. For the first time ever, Ethan saw his entire upcoming week laid out clearly. No chaos, no panic, just structure. Step 5. Review and adjust. Last step, Lily said. At the end of every day, review the next day. Ethan asked, "What if something unexpected happens again?" Lily smiled gently. "Then you adjust. That's the beauty of the system," she added. "Your planner isn't a prison, it's a compass." Ethan felt something warm in his chest. He finally understood. Time management wasn't meant to pressure him. It was meant to free him. The new feeling he never experienced before that night, Ethan sat at his desk and looked at his planner. His week was clear. His tasks were organized. Nothing felt impossible. For the first time in his life, he felt ahead instead of behind. He whispered, "I can actually do this." But next week would bring the hardest test yet. Balancing school, personal life, emotions, burnout, and real stress. And Ethan was about to learn that managing your time is as much emotional as it is practical. Burnout, the silent enemy that destroys even the best plans. For the first time in his life, Ethan finally had a system. He wasn't drowning, he wasn't scrambling, he wasn't lost. His planner made sense. His weekly reset worked. His study sessions were productive. His confidence was growing, but there was something he didn't expect, something no one warned him about, something that hits every student once they finally become consistent. Burnout. Not the dramatic kind, not the breakdown kind, the quiet burnout, the slow creeping exhaustion, the heavy feeling that something is wrong even though everything looks right. And Ethan was about to face it head on. The week everything felt heavy. It started subtly. He sat down to study, and his brain felt foggy. He tried reviewing math, but the numbers blurred. He opened his English document and stared at it blankly. He wasn't distracted. He wasn't procrastinating. He wasn't unmotivated. He was just tired, deeply tired, the kind of tired sleep doesn't fix. He whispered, "Why do I feel like this? I'm doing everything right." But burnout doesn't care how perfect your schedule is. Burnout attacks when your mind moves faster than your emotions can handle. The day his system collapsed. Everything went fine in the morning, but when he got to his room after school, he opened his planner, and something inside him broke. The list looked longer than usual. The tasks felt heavier than usual. The deadlines felt closer than usual. His chest tightened. His breathing grew shallow. "I can't do this right now." For a moment, old panic rose inside him. The old Ethan would have shut down, closed his books, escaped into his phone, pretended tomorrow would fix everything. But this time, he reached for the person who understood systems better than anyone. The conversation that changed his mindset. Ethan found Lily in the library. She looked up immediately. "You look exhausted." Ethan sank into the chair. "I don't get it. I'm following the system. I'm doing everything right. Why do I feel like my brain is melting?" Lily nodded knowingly. "You're burned out." Ethan frowned. "But I'm not even behind." "That's exactly when burnout shows up," she said. "When you're doing well, but you're overusing your mental energy without realizing it." Ethan's eyes widened. "So, what do I do?" Lily opened her notebook and wrote 2 words in huge letters. "Active rest, the truth. No one teaches students." Lily explained, "Time management isn't just work, it's also recovery." She held up 2 fingers. "There are 2 types of rest, passive rest and active rest." Ethan raised an eyebrow. "What's the difference?" Lily went on. Passive rest, scrolling, lying in bed, watching TV, zoning out. It gives your body a break, she said, but not your mind. Active rest, walks, journaling, talking to someone, stretching, meditation, organizing your space, short naps, deep breathing, listening to calm music, hydrating, sitting outside. This is the rest that resets your brain. Ethan leaned back slowly. I've been doing the wrong kind of rest, haven't I? Lily laughed softly. Pretty much. The 20-20-20 reset. Lily grabbed his planner and wrote 20 minutes, physical reset, walk, shower, stretch, hydrate, 20 minutes, emotional reset, journal, talk, breathe, reflect, 20 minutes, mental reset, clean space, review goals, recenter. This is what brings your brain back. Online, she said. Ethan stared at the page. That actually makes sense. Learning to listen to his energy. Lily wasn't done. She added, You don't manage time, you manage energy. Ethan blinked. That sounds deep. It's true, she said. If your energy is low, your productivity will be low, and no matter how perfect your schedule is. Then she asked, How long has it been since you took a real break? Ethan looked down. I don't remember. That's why you're burned out. The first time he chose rest over pressure. That evening, Ethan did something new. He didn't force himself to complete the entire schedule. He didn't punish himself for being tired. He didn't panic about falling behind. Instead, he followed Lily's reset. He walked for 20 minutes. He journaled for 20 minutes. He cleaned his desk and reviewed his goals for 20 minutes. And something unbelievable happened. For the first time in days, his mind felt clear. His anxiety lowered. His breathing slowed. His energy came back. He whispered, So this is what real rest feels like. The lesson. He wrote in his journal before bed. Ethan opened his notebook and wrote, Time management isn't about working non-stop. It's about knowing when to slow down. Then rest is not a reward. It's part of the strategy. He closed the journal with a calm smile. Burnout didn't make him weak. It made him smarter, stronger, more self-aware, and tomorrow he would learn the next critical skill, how to stay consistent for months, not days, not weeks, by building sustainable routines. The power of routine. How small daily systems create massive long-term success. Burnout taught Ethan an important truth. Time management wasn't about squeezing more work into his day. It was about protecting his energy, his focus, and his mental health. But after recovering, he realized something else. His system only worked when he actively used it. If he forgot one reset, he slipped. If he skipped one planning day, he fell behind. If he got tired, everything cracked. He didn't just need tools. He needed routine, because habits protect you when motivation disappears. And that lesson was about to change his life more than any planner, timer, or strategy ever could. The day Ethan saw the difference between habits and routines. On Monday morning, Ethan woke up before his alarm. He made his bed, he drank water, he checked his planner, he stretched his shoulders. He reviewed his top 3 tasks. It felt natural, almost automatic. He whispered, Wait, when did this become normal? That's when he realized he wasn't forcing himself anymore. He was becoming the kind of person who followed a system without thinking. That was routine. And that was power. The teacher who explained the truth. Later that day, his English teacher, Miss Carter, gave a quick speech after class. She wrote one sentence on the board. Routines remove decision fatigue. Then she explained, Every morning you wake up, your brain has limited mental energy. The more decisions you make, the faster you drain it. She continued, students who rely on motivation burn out. Students who rely on routine succeed. Ethan felt the words hit him hard. He finally understood why his old life was chaos. He woke up every day with no plan, no structure, no rhythm. Everything depended on how he felt. But routines replaced feeling with direction. The 4 routines that change everything. During lunch, Lily found him scribbling in his planner. "What are you working on?" she asked. Ethan looked up. "Routines. I think I need real ones." Lily smiled. "Good. Want me to teach you mine?" He nodded eagerly. She opened a notebook and showed him 4 pages. 1. Morning routine, your daily launchpad. Ethan read it. Wake up at the same time. Drink water, short stretch or deep breath. Quick review of the day. Backpack, check top 3 tasks, chosen 5 minutes of calm before screens. Lily said, "Your morning decides your momentum." Ethan nodded slowly. He never realized how many days he started already stressed. 2. School routine, your daily flow. Next page, use breaks to review notes. Keep a clean binder. Sit in your focus zone. Write homework down immediately. Pack papers before leaving class. Don't rely on memory, Saint. Rely on systems. Ethan whispered, "This would have saved me years of pain." 3. Afternoon routine, your reset zone. The next page was even more surprising. 20-minute physical reset, 20-minute emotional reset, 20-minute planning reset. Start with hardest task. No multitasking, 2 to 3 study blocks max. Stop before burnout. It doesn't matter how smart you are, Lily added. If your mind is fried when you start studying, nothing works. 4. Night routine, your reset for tomorrow. Finally, light cleanup of desk, check backpack, prep clothes review, tomorrow's tasks, brief journal entry, no screens the last 20 minutes, sleep at the same time. Ethan stared at the page, stunned. "This is a lot." Lily shook her head. "No, this is freedom." The moment Ethan realized who he was becoming. That night, Ethan tried it. Not perfectly, not aggressively, not like a robot, just step by step. He made his bed, cleaned his desk, scheduled his next day, did a small journal entry, prepared his backpack. And when he lay down in bed, he felt something he hadn't felt in years. Control. Not the stressful kind, the peaceful kind. He realized he wasn't a procrastinator anymore. He wasn't a messy student. He wasn't bad at time management. He was becoming a person with structure, with rhythm, with discipline, a student with routines. The journal entry that marked his transformation. Before closing his eyes, he opened his journal and wrote, "Routines are the habits that protect my future self." Then, "If I follow my routines, I don't need motivation." And finally, "This isn't about being productive. It's about becoming the person I want to be." He closed the journal with a soft smile. Tomorrow he would face the final challenge. The thing every student struggles with. How to stay consistent without collapsing when life gets overwhelming again. And that final lesson would complete Ethan's transformation. Consistency isn't about perfection. It's about protecting your future. Ethan had changed. Not overnight, not magically, not because he became motivated, but because he built systems. He protected his time. He understood his energy. He created routines. He learned how to recover. And for the first time in years, he felt in control. But sustaining progress wasn't easy, because consistency isn't a straight line. Some days you feel like a genius. Some days you feel like you can't do anything. Some days your planner is perfect. Some days it's untouched. And today Ethan would learn the final truth. Consistency isn't doing everything every day. Consistency is never disappearing completely. This lesson came from a person he never expected. The teacher who could see right through him. One afternoon, after a long study block, Ethan stayed after class to ask his history teacher, Mr. Foster, a question. But before Ethan said anything, Mr. Foster smiled. "You're different these days." Ethan blinked. "Different how?" "You're calmer," Mr. Foster said, "more focused, more in control, but also tired." Ethan lowered his eyes. "I'm trying, really trying." Mr. Foster nodded knowingly. "That's good, but let me ask you something." He leaned forward. "Are you managing your time, or are you fighting it?" Ethan frowned. "What's the difference?" Mr. Foster drew a line on a piece of paper. High effort, burnout, collapse, guilt, restart, burnout again. He circled it. "This is what most students do. Push hard, burn out, crash, restart." Then he drew another line. "Steady effort, small breaks, small wins, stable progress." "This is consistency," he said. "No extremes, no perfection, just steady improvement." Ethan stared at the simple lines, stunned. "So the goal isn't to be perfect every day?" Mr. Foster smiled warmly. "Perfection fails. Sustainability wins." The missed day that taught him everything. A few days later, Ethan hit a wall. He woke up late. He felt mentally drained. He had zero energy to study. He tried starting his math homework, but he couldn't focus. His mind was scattered. His motivation was gone. The old version of Ethan would have felt like a failure. But the new Ethan remembered something Lily said. Missing one day does nothing. Missing 2 days starts a pattern. So Ethan did something his old self would never do. He simplified. He cut his to-do list down to one task. Review history notes for 10 minutes. That's it. No pressure, no punishment, no trying to be a superhero. Just one task. And when he finished that single small task, he whispered, "That counts. I showed up today." For the first time, he wasn't chasing perfection. He was protecting consistency. The 5-minute rule that saves students. Later at lunch, Ethan sat with Lily and told her what happened. She smiled proudly. "You just used one of the best rules ever." She wrote it in his planner. The 5-minute rule. If you can't do everything, do 5 minutes of something. 5 minutes keeps the habit alive, she said. 5 minutes tells your future self, "I didn't quit." 5 minutes prevents the collapse. Ethan nodded slowly. "So, consistency is about not disappearing," he said. "Exactly." The final transformation. By the end of the week, Ethan wasn't just managing time anymore. He was managing his energy, emotions, habits, routines, mindset, environment, long-term goals. He wasn't scared of assignments. Wasn't drowning in chaos. He wasn't running from responsibility. He had become the kind of student he used to admire from a distance. Not perfect, not robotic, not overly disciplined, just organized enough to stay consistent. Just aware enough to recover when tired, just strong enough to protect his future self. The last journal entry of his chapter that night, Ethan opened his journal and wrote, "Time management isn't a schedule, it's a lifestyle." Then, "I don't need to be perfect, I just need to show up." And finally, "Every small step I take today builds the future version of me." He closed the journal with a deep breath. This wasn't the end. This was the beginning of a life where he wasn't overwhelmed, he wasn't lost, he wasn't falling behind. He had systems, he had clarity, he had control. Time didn't control him anymore. He controlled time. Subscribe now. Join the Bright World English Academy family and let's start your English learning journey together.